Point out the colors in you, I see them too, and boy, I like them. I like them, I like them. We way too fly to partake in all this hate. We out here vibing, we vibing, we vibing.
Alexa, play Ariana Grande.
Okay.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
SRN Survival Radio Network.
Greetings and welcome to the Paula G Show, where we expand your mindset through worldwide conversations right here on Survival Radio Network. I am so incredibly glad that you have joined me for this episode. I promise you this is going to be a powerful, powerful episode this evening. My guest has quite a journey, and she is going to share it with us. But first, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Paula G Show. And we also want to thank V Ferg for the opening theme music. Slow Earth and V Ferg's music can be found on iTunes, Amazon, and SoundCloud. My Positive Power 21 family listeners, and also my journey with Paula G, my award-winning TV talk show. I thank you all so much for joining me for this episode and listening to this episode, my LMB Network family over there on Friday mornings at 11 a.m. when the Paula G Show rebroadcast on that network. We thank you all so much for joining us. My family right here, Survival Radio Network, you all have been with me from the beginning, and I appreciate your support, your continued support over the years. Thank you all so much for joining me for this episode. You know, I always say time is precious. It is the one thing that you cannot get back. So for you all to think it not robbery to spend this time with me is truly appreciated. And as always, it's going to be an amazing, amazing show. And I'm so glad to have riding shotgun with me on this episode is my engineer, Mr. Mike Barnes. He is back in the saddle, so we're so glad to have him back. I believe baseball season is over. I think it's over. So he's back in the saddle with us, so thank you so much, Mike, for being back with us tonight. And I want to thank Clark Garrison and Kira Johnson for filling in and sitting in your absence. So we might hear from Mike a little bit later on. We'll see. Also, Courtney Denise, my associate producer, helps me keep things together and kind of makes it all happen here on the Paula G Show. I appreciate all that you do, Courtney Denise. Much love to you. Much love to you. Hey, family, if you have not done so already, I invite you to reach out to my Facebook group page, The Paula G Show. You can join my Facebook group page, and you'll see all of the episodes of The Paula G Show posted there. Or you can go to my fan page, my TV shows, My Journey with Paula G are posted there as well. My website has been updated. I've had a lot going on. My website has been updated, www.paulagvoice.com. It's the one-stop shop for radio, television, and everything that's going on with Paula G. And I'm really excited about updates and the revisions there. And I want to take a moment to thank Mr. Jerry Royce, a.k.a. Batman himself, for just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful design of my website. So, Jerry, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know, I've got a busy weekend coming up this weekend. We are going into production for our next season of the award-winning My Journey with Paula G. I'll be going up to the Maryland area, and I'll be in studio, and we'll be taping the next season of shows and some commercials and some voiceovers and so forth. So I've got a busy, busy weekend ahead of me, and I'm excited about all of the guests that are lined up for the next season. I can't wait to have the opportunity to speak with them, and then also all of the individuals that came to the meet and greet here in the Atlanta area back in August. I had each one of them to write for me their favorite scripture, write their favorite quote, their favorite saying, something of that nature. And what I will begin doing as I begin taping these episodes is I'm going to share one of those for each episode. I'm going to share one of those and some thoughts with those because, you know, those individuals that came out, and all of you, if you're listening and you came out to the meet and greet back in August, thank you so much for your support, your encouragement, and your financial assistance in helping to make this dream a reality. You know, this show has been and continues to be so exciting. And I'm talking about the TV show. Well, this show too, but the TV show as well. We won the 23rd Newsom Award for the 2018 Producers of the Year, Jerry Royce and myself, for the Producers of the Year. And we interview individuals from the Christian and gospel community who are independent artists, whether they're singers, songwriters, producers, authors, motivational speakers, whatever it is. They are independent. They've invested in themselves. They've invested in their own dream. So we are giving them a voice. And, you know, sometimes if you're on Netflix or whatever network you use and maybe you click on and you watch some of those independent films, some of those independent films are phenomenal. They are absolutely phenomenal. There are a lot of gifted and talented people out there that we don't have the opportunity to hear from. I might be speaking to some right now, and you don't even realize it. We don't have an opportunity to hear from them. So this show provides a platform. It provides an opportunity for us to hear from these independent artists, whether filmmakers or musicians, singer-songwriters, authors, whatever they are, giving them an opportunity to have a voice, giving them exposure to an audience to hear and see what it is that they have been called to do. So we're excited about the show. If you are an independent artist, if you would like to be a guest on My Journey with Paula G, now let me just tell you a couple things about that. Production takes place maybe quarterly, I'll say, up in the D.C., Maryland area. So travel would be necessary to the D.C., Maryland area to come in studio to record, do interview, conversation, live performance, what have you. If you're interested, reach out to me at Paula at paulagvoice.com. Also, if you're interested in gaining exposure for your business or service, we have opportunities for you to be an underwriter, a supporter, advertiser, sponsor, all of those things. This show is on WATC 2. You can download the app. It's on Thursday mornings at 11:30 a.m. Roku TV, Hulu TV, Google Play, Apple TV, and I know I'm forgetting one. I always forget one. All of those outlets. Also, right here in the Atlanta area, DeKalb TV 25, the local cable access channel in DeKalb County. Not only is My Journey with Paula G airing on there, but other shows such as Gumdrop, music video profiles with Skylar, Late Night with Jerry Royce Live. Got a lot of shows on DeKalb 25. So if you're in the DeKalb County area, you can watch it, or you can go to their website. I believe it's www.decab25.com. I believe that's what it is. You can go to that site. YouTube, Facebook, bottom line, there's a lot of exposure, both as an artist and as an advertiser. So just something to think about. Email me, Paula at paulagvoice.com, and we can also talk further about that. But I also would like to thank Channel 57 right here in the Atlanta area for providing the opportunity for my journey with Paula G to be aired on WATC, and also for giving Paula G the opportunity to be the prayer report person on Atlanta Live. I've had the opportunity to do that a couple of times since my show has started airing on that network. So I really appreciate them for that opportunity, and appreciate all of you, because I know my Survival Radio Network listeners, all of you also have been very encouraging and supportive as the doors have opened, not only for radio, but for TV for me as well. So I really, really appreciate each and every one of you all. Thank you so much. And I want to also, before we go to birthdays, and then we're going to go to break in a little bit, thank those who are underwriters for the first season of my journey. My coffee shop right here in the Atlanta area in East Lake, just a delightful place. Dr. Paula and Marcia Kelly, who are affiliated with the Pastor's Time International Bible College. Dupsey's African Clothing, who have sponsored and have donated some clothing that I'll be wearing on some of the episodes. I'm so excited. Virtuous Ladies Shoes with Reverends Bernard and Joanne McNair, who also have sponsored and have donated some shoes. Paula G gets to wear some pretty shoes. Survival Radio Network has been so very supportive. Clicks Photography with Clark Garrison as well has been very supportive. And I'm going to run down my other supporters real quickly. Let me see if I can get everybody in. Can I get everybody in? Mr. Tony Ferguson, Mr. Vincent Sarah Ferguson, Tinker Foster, Donna Gilmore, Waltine Grady, Robert and Delane Hedden, Dr. Paula Marcia Kelly, Sarah Love Powell, Gwen Mason, LaFonya Mayfield, Karen Nelson, Richard Roden, Kingsley Saki, Maxine Wright, Randy Melton, Elgin Montgomery. Thank you all so much, so very much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right, well, we've got birthdays that we need to mention. Yes. We've got a lot of birthdays here. My good friend, my sister, Andra Lett Jackson. She's always so very supportive, and I thank her so very much for her support. Happy birthday, Andra. Freddie Cole, Lawrence Bell, Rick Roden, Richard H. Johnson, Keisha Williams. I believe she was a guest a while back. Aaliyah Butler was a guest a while back. Dwight Womack, Lori Mans, Keith Bostick. The radio lady that is well known here in the Atlanta area, Martha Washington George. Happy birthday to you, Miss George. Happy birthday. And Mr. Sanford, Richmond Sanford. I see him on the dance floor. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. All right, well, I believe we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back on the flip side of the commercial, my guest has an amazing journey, and I believe she calls herself an accidental hostage. How do you wind up being an accidental hostage? We're going to find out in just a little while when we are joined by my guest this evening, Miss Antoinette Tuff. This is the Paula G Show right here on Survival Radio Network. We'll be back in a few moments.
When hearts will turn at once.
We are back, and that was a nice little groove to listen to. I hope you all enjoyed that very much. You know, I love my music here on Survivor Radio Network, and every now and then I have a good friend. His name is Glenn Trevelyan, and he sends over some samples of music. And you all remember Dee Robinson was on the show a while back, and UV Hayes was on the show a while back. I have to get those ladies back, and maybe some other artists to come back on and share their music, because, you know, I like a little bit of smooth music there, you know, a little bit of smooth music to kind of mellow out the soul and to kind of relax you a bit. You know, we've got so much going on in our lives. You know, there's so much stress. Oh my gosh, you know, people are so stressed out nowadays, and there's just so much anger. You know, when you're driving on the roads, I don't know about the cities that you all live in, but you know, here in this area, people just seem mad all the time. You know what I'm saying? They just seem angry all the time on the road, and you know, the traffic is heavy and it's congested, and you know, a little bit of smooth flowing music to just soothe the soul, you know, is a beautiful thing. So I'm always in the market for some wonderful sounds, always in the market for some beautiful music to kind of chill to. So if you've got any suggestions, email me, Paula at paulagvoice.com. Let me know, and I'll review it and, you know, see if we can feature it here on the Paula G Show, because I am all about the music. I am all about the music. All right. Well, you know, I am an educator. I've been in education now, gosh, I don't know, it's going on about 18 years as a school counselor, mainly on the high school level, although I'm certified K through 12, and also my engineer is a school counselor as well on the high school level. And education has changed drastically. I don't know if that's a bit harsh, but it has changed quite a bit over the years. The makeup of the curriculum, the student body, all of it has just changed over the years, and the school environment is not what it used to be. You know, our students come to school and they've got so much baggage. I remember an administrator that I used to work with some years ago. I remember her saying that, you know, a lot of our students come through the door with an invisible suitcase. We don't know what they're coming through the door with. You know, we don't know what has occurred in their life, or we don't know what has occurred in their world that you know, they're coming to school, you know, with all of these challenges and with all of these issues, and sometimes it can get explosive. But this evening, my guest, my guest, she is a survivor. She's an author. She's a community safety advocate. She's the CEO and founder of Kids on the Move for Success. And on August 20th, 2013, I think her life changed forever. She's here to share that journey with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Paula G Show none other than the amazing, courageous, phenomenal woman, Miss Antoinette Tuff.
How are you doing?
I am wonderful, Antoinette. How are you? It is so wonderful to have the opportunity to speak to you again. We met, a few months ago, I believe, at the Chamber of Commerce. I think it was a Chamber of Commerce meeting that we met at, and just your energy and your spirit. I said, I've got to have this woman on my show to share her journey. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome. It's a pleasure to be on your show today.
Yes. Well, you know, Antoinette, you are a woman who has been and remains prepared, I would say, for a purpose. What do you know to be your past purpose, and what do you know to be your present purpose, and perhaps your future purpose? I know that's a loaded question. We'll start with the past purpose.
Well, my past purpose was to be a wife for 33 years and to raise my two children. God gave me both of my beautiful babies when I thought at one time I couldn't have any. And so he was like, no, I'm going to be able to bless you. And even though my son was multiple disabled, sometimes as a, as parents, you look for your child to be whole and you don't think anything's going to be wrong. You look for all the toes and all the hands and all that. But then when you have a child that's multiple disabled, sometimes it can be an overwhelming part for a mom to be able to see that, and even a dad.
Yes.
But that multiple disabled son was the one who saved my life when I was suicidal. He was the one that spoke life into me to be able to let me know that life was worth living for. And so I'll tell any mom out there that's dealing with challenges with your kids, whether it's behavioral challenges, whether it's physical or mental, we never know what God has in store for that particular baby that's going to change your destiny of your life.
Wow.
So that's part of my past. The other thing in my past would have been was, wanting to be a wife. I met my ex-husband when I was 13, and I found myself divorced at 46. And even with all of the roller coaster rides we did at the end of our marriage, it still wouldn't change me being able to walk into the destiny of knowing that at the end of the day, I was a Proverbs 31 wife that God was well pleased with.
And that in itself, you met him at 13 and divorced at how many years later? At what age?
33 years later. I was 46.
33. Wow. So that's a lifetime. That's a lifetime. Yes, a lifetime. And on the other side, because I know you can probably attest to this. At when you're going through and you hear people say, "Oh, there's life on the other side of divorce," you can't even comprehend that, because your life has been, for 33 years, this was your life. And if someone is telling you there's life beyond that, I mean, literally yes, but life beyond that, it's hard to. Was that a difficult thing for you to envision at that time, or like what was going through your mind at that time?
It's a process, Paula, but the thing about it is that for me, I felt like that 13-year-old little girl. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to write my book called Prepared for a Purpose, because God prepared me for that at the age of 2 from the abandonment issues of my dad. And now I'm 46, feeling like that 2-year-old in that 13-year-old body trying to figure out the abandonment issues. And so why is it that at the end of the day, this man didn't choose me after 33 years? And so with all of that, even though you're trying to figure it out, but I wouldn't change it, because God needed me to go through that spiral in my life to be able to see that even though you thought you had abandonment issues at 2 when your dad rejected you, at 13 when you went from your mom rejecting you to your husband now rejecting you at 46, it was an actual pattern for me. It was in threes, and for some reason I don't know why God do my life in threes. I said it'd be the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I can't figure out why He do it in threes, but So I was like, okay, Holy Ghost, all right. So for me, it was like now at 46, still trying to understand that. So I wanted people in my book to be able to see that in all of that, God was still preparing me for a purpose. And I was just a mom, a bookkeeper, working 3 jobs, an ordinary person. But God said, I'm going to take you out in an ordinary life to allow you to be able to see that I put in you an extraordinary life. And no matter if you don't want to walk through it, you got 2 ways to go. It's hard or easy, but no matter what you're going, because now I need you to save over 870 innocent babies' lives. And the only way you can do that is that you be in a downward spiral to want to commit suicide 2 days before that, walk on a busiest school in Atlanta to be able to see that even though you walk on Wesley Chapel, thinking that a car going to hit you, I'm going to let them swerve around you and don't hit you. You can still go back out there and walk in front of a truck and think he going to hit you because you think he don't have brakes enough to do it. I'm going to let him swerve around you and don't kill you too, because 2 days I got an assignment for you come August the 20th that I need you to be at the right place at the right time to be able to save 870 innocent children's lives, including the gunman.
And you know what? That is so. What you just, that portion. I know you're going to kind of expound a bit, but I want to pause here for a moment, because what you have shared is so powerful that I want the audience to hear it, where you have shared and recognized, almost like peeling back the layers. We are who we are as a result of our life experiences. And I remember a photographer I was working with one time, she said, as adults, we spend our adulthood getting over our childhood. And you have shared how at the age of 2, your experience and that feeling and how it manifested over the years, and the challenges you had with that over the years, how it manifested, but it in itself has a purpose. And I think that's important for people to understand when they're going through their life experiences, the dark moments, the light moments, that they all have purpose and that it will all come together at some point. For you, it was August 20th, 2013. Take us back to August 20th, 2013.
Well, I went to work that day, and I was already overwhelmed because, like I said, I had tried to commit suicide 2 days before that. My ex-husband had told me he was coming back home, but by that time he was already with the young lady that he had cheated me on. And so it was just an overwhelming time for me. My boss then came in and asked me if I could fill in for the secretary. She had just got hired like a couple of days before that. And so, trying to get everything together, teachers coming in, students coming in, trying to just get the regular day organized.
So that wasn't even your regular place to be, right? That wasn't even your regular. You weren't even supposed to be there. You weren't even supposed to be there.
No.
That wasn't even your regular. Okay, I just want to make sure the audience heard that. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was actually the bookkeeper, so my office was down the hallway around the corner on the other part of the building, so I wasn't even in that area.
Part of the building.
And so So I'm sitting there in my desk and my waiting, for my time, and I get a phone call from the bank, and they want $14,000 in 7 days. And so, mind you, now I got cutoff notices, car, trying to get my car together and all that, acting crazy and all that, even work done to it, just in a very weird place.
So you were just done.
Just trying to figure out.
Done.
Oh, I was just done. I'm just done. Stick a fork in me, I'm out. So
right.
So I'm having to get myself together because in the bookkeeper, the secretary calls me and says, "Okay, are you coming to relieve me?" And I'm like, "Okay." So no one in the building knew what I was going through. Only thing they knew was that me and my husband was holding hands. We were best friends. So no one knew the actual part of what was going on in my life except for a couple of my friends. And so they weren't even in the building anymore, but they kind of knew what was going on. They were educators. And so, I'm just trying to get it together. So I go up, and so the secretary goes out of one door, and the parent goes out of the other door. So I'm sitting there with a teacher who says, can I help her with her paperwork and all that? So we're sitting there doing the paperwork. So they go out the doors, and we think nothing of it. The next thing I know is while I'm sitting there talking to the actual teacher, we get a voice says, "This is not a joke. We all going to die today." So the parent kindly held the door open for the gunman and let him in the building.
Wow.
So how many of your audience go pick up their kids from school, nieces, nephews, their children, and, and I was guilty of it too, and you just nicely see another parent or somebody behind you.
Come behind you.
And you hold it right. Or you coming out the door, and you just kindly hold the door open. Not thinking anything of it. And not allowing the school to buzz them in. So this is what that parent did. She just opened the door and let the gunman in. So when he came in, by that time he had his AK-47 out, had about over 500 rounds of ammo, and just allowing me and the teacher that's sitting there with me to know that everybody in this building gonna die today, including him. He had planned it, and the thing about it is this: he thought it out. He put a photo on social media to let everybody know what he was going to do. It's about 8 months after the Sandy Hook school shooting, where innocent lives were taken.
Yeah.
He actually passed several schools to get to my school, and then he parked his car right next to my car.
Wow.
And so you want to talk about a prepared for a purpose moment, how God set you up, because if I hadn't gotten that phone call from the bank, then I would have already been up to the front office and back to my desk by then, and the secretary would have been the one who was receiving him. So I want you to. So God allowed me to get the phone call to make me late, for me to be the one at the front office to be able to receive him in the front office when he came in, and not the secretary.
So all of these, and I want to be sure that the audience is grasping this. All of these things that occurred out of order on that day actually were in order. Does that make sense?
Most definitely. Because, see, what happens is you thinking that it's going to line up to be like this, and God said, no, if you go right now, then it's going to disturb my plan. Because go back to it now. I tried to commit suicide 2 days before that, and he didn't let the car or the truck hit me because he needed me in that place. And so if I had not gotten the phone call, then I would have not been in the place where he needed me to be able to know that, okay, now I'm about to make you come from ordinary to extraordinary, because I already put it in you 46 years ago at birth. And that's what we have to be able to understand, is that we all have a plan at birth. It don't happen when you become an adult. It happens at the seed process.
Do you how do you feel your frame? Because at that moment, what I'm hearing is 2 days prior, I tried to commit suicide. My marriage is falling apart. I got $14,000. My life is breaking loose. I can't take not near other thing. So your frame of mind at that point is whatever happens, happens. I'm just done. I'm spent. Do you feel that in any way that frame of mind also saved you as well? As opposed to if your life was going just rosy and everything was just peachy.
Well, for me, I knew that I wouldn't have been. If let's say, like, my ex-husband, there wasn't nothing going on. We were the family that mom them told you this is what you need to model after. We were going on. Me and my ex-husband went on dates. We were. Our kids was grown, gone out the house. So it's like what every family lives to be for. Now your kids are grown. You can hold the hands, be best friends again. So that whole scenario, what you think, So I know that if I hadn't have been in that place, mentally and emotionally, because what happened was my ex-husband doing that allowed me to realize my relationship with God was not a relationship. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. I went to church every Sunday. I went to church every Wednesday. I was a prayer leader over the prayer team. I was a deacon and a deaconess in the church, and all of that. I knew the rituals of what to do, but I did not have an intimate relationship with God. Even though,
I got you.
And God said to me that you don't have a relationship with me. What you have done was idolize this man over me, and I will have no other gods before me. Now, let me break that down to you, because I know some of your audiences be like, what you mean by that, Antoinette? So I said to God, I said, okay, Lord, what do you mean by that? So he took me back to an example of one time that I idolized my husband, which I did not understand that in the process of it, but I understood when he said it. So this one particular year, I had asked my husband, mind you, I was working 3 jobs. And so I had asked my husband, I said, what do you want for Christmas? I asked him about 6 months before Christmas. And he gave me all this list of what he wanted. And I took that 3rd job so that I could buy him everything that he asked me for those 6 months. Mm-hmm. My kids came home from college, so I put this chair in the living room by the Christmas tree. And so me and my kids sat at his feet while he sat in the chair like he was the king. And we sat at his feet, and I gave him each one of those gifts that he asked me for over 6 months. Mm-hmm. And the last gift that I gave him was an actual, because he liked to go to the gym. I gave him a gym bag with outfits in it, tennis shoes in it, and in every pocket in the actual gym bag had money in it for him to just spend on himself. Mm-hmm. So God said, you set him on the throne above me. You had my children sitting there idolizing him like he was the king, and you forgot about me.
Mm. So he placed you in a position to remember.
Something.
Yes.
Yes. And how many of us as women forget about ourselves in the process, whether it's a relationship or marriage, and even our children, and forget about who we are, and you got to go back to be able to do like I had to do with myself, because God took me through all of that. I had to introduce Antoinette to Antoinette.
Oh,
because I knew
like
who
that.
I was.
Right.
And
you
so I had to go back and say,
Antoinette.
Like, Antoinette, who are you? I had to say, Antoinette means Antoinette.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of
and
I think
say,
you're
okay,
absolutely right. I think a lot of us go through that. Yes.
Yeah, and so, when you do that, it becomes like, who are you? And a lot of us don't know that because we lose ourselves in the process. So I tell them, all these women out there today, is have you some mommy time, honey. Get you some mommy time. I get your ice cream cone and sit down.
Take some time for yourself. Antoinette, we're going to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, we are having a conversation with Miss Antoinette Tuff. She's an author, community safety advocate. She's the CEO and founder of Kids on the Move for Success. And on August 20th, 2013, her life changed forever. When we come back on the flip side of the break, she's going to tell us a bit about how she's got the right last name, y'all, how her tough tactics assisted her on that day, and then we're going to talk a little bit about her nonprofit agency, her nonprofit organization, and also an event that she has coming up in November. We're going to take a station break. Got to pay some bills. We're going to listen to this evening's engineer's pick, "Nobody But You," I believe, by UV Hayes. This is the Paula G Show right here on Survivor Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a few moments. And that was my good friend UV Hayes with "Nobody But You." And for all the steppers out there, that was for you as well. We are having a conversation this evening with Miss Antoinette Tuff. On August 20th, 2013, she had the wherewithal to talk a gunman. He had an AK-47, walked into a school, talked him into surrendering and laying down his weapon. And if I'm not mistaken, Antoinette, this is the only school shooter incident, if you will, where no lives were lost. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Wow. That is absolutely amazing. You know, I was reading your bio and information about you. Just a really amazing career and amazing experiences that you've had and jobs and things that you have had that have equipped you with the skills. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before the break. You know, everything in life happens for a reason, and we are on this journey. And as we are on this journey and the experiences that we have equip us for the next moment, the next level. So share with us your tough tactics and how they assisted you on that day.
Well, my tough tactics that I now go around the world and speak in companies and organizations and in schools is to come back and teach people how to have compassion, confidence, and control. And how do you do that in the face of conversations in the crosshairs? And we all have crosshairs in our lives. And so it becomes like if I'm going through something personal or if I'm going through something, you know, in my business as an irate customer or, you know, you might have a disgruntled employee, you know, or an active shooter. What do I do in that? Or how do I come back and resolve the issue of being in a peaceful resolution with it? And so when we come back is look at some of those tactics that you can be able to use and some of those things that I used on August 20th, 2013 that allowed me to be able to survive that incident. You know, a lot of times we don't know just, you know, what to do or how to do it. You know, when our kids are not doing what we need to do or, you know, I got personal things and then now I'm at work and I got to take my personal hat off and put on my business hat because, you know, they don't know what's all going on in my closet. You know, like on August the 20th. My boss didn't know that my husband had left me and I ain't had no food in the house and cut off notices everywhere trying to figure out what meal I was going to feed my son that night. They didn't know all that.
Right.
But I had to take off that hat and all that, all the trauma that was going on in my life at that moment to be able to say, Antoinette, there's 870 innocent children in this building. And they're dependent upon you to save their lives. And not only that, it was the busiest time of the day. And normally the front office would have been filled with children and parents for dismissal. So it's like, how do you now go back and be able to say, okay, Lord, whatever you do, I don't need nobody to interrupt this line because I need to make sure I got a connection with God right
clear
now.
line.
The clear line, okay? Don't nobody come in the door. None, clear. You know, so you got to be able to know that. Yeah, I'm like, for me, I'm like, I'm seeing this young man. He's walking to and fro. He's done fired a couple of shots in there with us in the room. So you know, I'm looking at the bullet ricocheting everywhere. So it's like, okay, Lord, you know, what do I do with this? How do I handle this? You know, he's telling me that he hasn't taken his medicine. And so for me, it wasn't just the children that were there. He's somebody's brother. He's somebody's son. He's going to be somebody's daddy one day and somebody's husband. So his life is just as important as the kids that are in that building. And how do we all get out safely? And that's what tough tactics teach you is how to have compassion in the midst of fire in front of you.
Wow.
And use those tough tactics with that.
And you know, I as I was reading, because I was reading about, and before we you know, go off the air, we've got maybe about 6 or 7 minutes. I want to make sure that you share your information before we go off. But you also have a nonprofit organization which has expanded. Tell us about that.
So what I did is I wanted to come back. People from all over the world donate to us, and you all keep bringing in them donations because we need them. I want to go back into that school. We need them. We need them donations. Yeah. I wanted to go back into that school district to be able to allow our kids to know that they don't have to be the next gunman. And how do you do that? So I started a mentoring program at the DeKalb County school system last year. I went back, and the school that I selected, remember when I told you I was walking on Wesley Chapel and God didn't let any lives take me? I had two people that was not in my school that helped save my life. It was a principal and an assistant principal. I went back to their school because they imparted into me, and I wanted to impart into them. So I launched my mentoring program, which is Discovery STEAM mentoring program, back into the school district, DeKalb County, at their school. We started out with third to fifth grade students last year. We impacted last year over 3,000 kids, being able to give them in that STEAM field, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, allowing them to not just give, but also allowing them to know that they have to give back. So we adopted U Spalding Hospital last year and came back and did Joy in the Morning with all the parents and the staff and the patients right after Mother's Day. And so this year we went from one school and one school district last year to this year we're going to wind up impacting 3 school districts and over 6 schools. And so it's just great to be able to see that I went from working 3 jobs to now having 3 school districts and 6 schools. Being able to say that I work. I'm telling you, God is awesome, honey. When I tell you He run out the red carpet for you, and then He run it out for you, He just lay it on out for you. It's amazing. And it's amazing.
Yes, and to my worldwide, because this show airs worldwide. So to my worldwide audience, our guest was referring to DeKalb County. That's right here in the Georgia area. So this all occurred in the Atlanta, Georgia area, but it could occur anywhere. It could occur anywhere. And what she's sharing with us are tactics and tools that she used, and she's going to share a website and information that has all of that information on there so the worldwide audience can go to her website, and if there's anything there that that they can order and that sort of thing that they can also take advantage of. You have a speaking engagement coming up on November 9th, is that correct?
Yes. We're actually going over, so what I did is when they were talking about arming our teachers, and my teachers were afraid, so they was like, what are we going to do? We have a high rate of suicide in our schools. And so I wanted to come back and give my kids and my educators a safe place to be able to have conversations. And so I created town hall meetings and youth trailblazers. And with those youth trailblazers and town hall meetings, we bring in educators, students, superintendents, lawmakers, communities, leaders, and also business leaders. And we all come together and have panel discussions and round tables about what does that look like? What does a safety look like in our schools and in our communities, and how can we all come together? We even bring law enforcement in there. How do we come together to make a difference? And the way we're getting ready to do that is because it's been so successful. Our now youth trailblazers are going to go to the Senate in the state of Georgia, and they're going to have their first meeting with the Senate on November the 9th at the state capitol, and be able to allow some of our students to be able to have a voice, to be able to say what does that look like, and to be able to have some things change for them so that they can be able to see that their voices do matter and we are listening as adults.
And how can the audience reach out to you? How can they stay connected? Can you share your social media and website?
So the way they can be able to get my autographed copy of my book is they can be able to reach me on my that's right. You got to get that book. They want to. You got to get the autographed copy because just get it ain't good. You got to have the
autograph, ladies and gentlemen. Not just a copy, but the autograph.
That's it. You got to have that personalized copy before you put it in your library. They can get that at my website, which is AntoinetteTuff.com. And they can be able to see my movie. I had a movie that came out January the 27th where Tony Braxton played me on Lifetime. It's called Faith Under Fire, so they can be able to see the trailer of that on my website. We did very well with that movie. We reached over 8 million people the weekend that it debuted. And so they can also go on that website and book me. Oh, yes, awesome. They can also book me on that AntoinetteTuff.com website to come to their organizations and speak. Then we have my Kids on the Move for Success.org. they can come on that website, become one of our mentors. They can volunteer on that website. They can become a trailblazer to come and help us to be able to give back to not just the Atlanta area, but I also have a mentoring program in Dallas, Texas. So they can be able to come back and work with us on that. And then another way that they can be able to come back on that website, which is kidsonthemoveforsuccess.org, is go to our ways to give. You know that Giving Tuesday is coming up. And so we're going to be doing a lot of campaigns. They can be able to follow us on our social media at Antoinette Tuff and also at KOTM, F as in Frank, S as in Sam. That's our initials for our Kids on the Move for Success. They can follow us on social media on both of those platforms and come out and support us. We're going to be doing all kind of campaigns. Now, I want them to be able to know that when they donate to us, it don't go in our pockets. We give our money to children all over the world. They can also, that money also goes to scholarships. August the 25th and the 27th is Antoinette Tuff Day in the state of Georgia, and April the 30th in the state of Texas. And on my days, I go back and bless babies with educational opportunities to be able to go to college so they can see outside of their communities. So we're just making a difference in the next generation.
And indeed you are. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Antoinette Tuff this evening. She is shared. Please go back and listen to this. Just an amazing, amazing journey, and hopefully down the road we'll have her back on again so she can continue to share her journey with us. Antoinette, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a commercial break, listen to, and I think it's appropriate, Jasmine Gent's Walk With Me. When we come back on the flip side, I'll have my closing remarks. This is the Paula G Show right here on Survival Radio Network. We'll be back in a few moments. And that was Jasmine Gent's Walk With Me right here on the Paula G Show. We just finished a conversation with my phenomenal guest, Antoinette Tuff. And like I said at the top of the show, she has the right last name, Tuff. It's not Antoinette Soft. It's not Antoinette Mushy. It is Antoinette Tuff. And indeed she is. I encourage you to visit her website at www.antoinettetuff.com. That's ANTOINETTE. tuff.com, and just check out all the amazing things that she is doing and how you can be a part, how you can contribute, and how you can support. We all have a journey in life, and each and every experience that you have in life, whether it's positive or a negative experience, prepares you for what's to come next. As she said, prepared for a purpose moment. Everything that led up to that moment on August 20th prepared her for that moment. And I love how she phrased it: confidence in the crosshairs. Because when you're when you're in the crosshairs, that's a, that can be a frightening place to be. But when you have confidence in the crosshairs, that means that you've got the faith, you've got the courage, you've got the wherewithal, the focus, the vision to do what it is that you are called to do at that moment. So I invite you to go back and listen to this episode again. You can do so by going to www.thepaulagshow.com and scrolling to the appropriate episode, or you can go to my group page, The Paula G Show, and it will be posted there as well. Don't forget My Journey with Paula G, Thursday, 11:30 a.m. on WATC2, that's TOO here in Atlanta. You can download the app. You can also find it on Hulu, Roku, Apple TV, Truly, Google Play. It's on YouTube, Facebook. Also on DeKalb 25, the Access Channel in DeKalb County, Georgia here. It airs at 11 a.m. on Thursday mornings as well. We're also on the CTN network in Mississippi, WEPH. You can catch us there as well. And I just, again, want to thank Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live, for the opportunity to have my own award-winning TV talk show. It truly is and continues to be a blessing. Maybe I can get Antoinette on there. I might have to work on that. On getting her on. All right, don't forget, late night real estate talk with Ramon Tukes and Julia Standard in about 30 minutes from 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Survival Radio Network 2. Also, Survival Radio Christian Network, my good friend Faith Walk with Joyce White on Tuesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Make sure you check her out. Joyce has been on air, I think, a little bit longer than I have, actually, and just a wonderful show over there on Survival Radio Christian Network. I want to thank my engineer for being back in the saddle this evening. I appreciate him as always. He's been hanging with me from the beginning, and I just really appreciate you, Mike. So thank you so very much for all that you do, my love. Thank you so much for all that you do. And I believe that I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know what it is, but I'll probably figure it out as soon as I go off there. Don't you hate when that happens? When you're trying to remember something and then you can't remember, and then you remember it at like a nanosecond too late or something. But anyway, it will come to me. I can't remember what it was, but it'll come to me. But, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, please go back and because – and this will have to be another conversation for another day, but Antoinette just shared so much vital information, just how, our past, when you start peeling back the layers and discovering some of the things that occurred in your life that really have to who you are and brought to you to your place in life, or how it's manifested. But then how later down the line it can be something, even though it may not necessarily be a positive thing, it can be something that can help you in a particular situation. We shall continue that conversation on another day. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And remember, the greatest conversation that you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears, because it affects your daily life, as our guest eloquently demonstrated. It affects your destiny. What are you speaking to yourself, ladies and gentlemen? What is your I am? Thank you so much for joining me. I leave you now. Until next time.
As a busy weatherman, people rely on me for up-to-the-minute weather reporting, which means I need energy to keep me going throughout my day.
Well, right now, you can get 2 Dunkin' Bacon, Egg, and Cheese sandwiches for $5.
Well, in that case, the forecast calls for rain, sun, partly cloudy, high-low, scattered, isolated, umbrella jacket, flip-flops with a 100% chance of look it up on the internet. I've got sandwiches to eat. Humidity, dew point.
Get 2 Dunkin' Bacon, Egg, and Cheese sandwiches for $5. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply.